The statistics shows that there are 22,792 international students in Finland, but a good number of them leave upon graduation. Stick around to know why. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Evalsametta, aka Sammy Sticks, aka that fresh, yummy hot chocolate. Don't you forget that. You must have heard a lot about studying and working in Finland. Low tuition fee, standard education, standard of living, presence of internationals in the country, etc. In this video, we're not only going to be talking about the pros of living, working and studying in Finland. We're going to be talking about the dark side of living, working and studying in Finland. Finland is known to have one of the most progressive social systems in the world, which extends to its healthcare system. Finland has one of the best healthcare systems in Europe and in the world. It's one of the reasons you might consider when moving to Finland. Like, health is wealth, like we always say. So one of the things you should look out for is like the healthcare system in Finland or the country you intend traveling to. And in this case, Finland has one of the best healthcare systems in Europe. Finland also has an excellent quality public education system, which you have to pay. It's not like free, but for me, I feel they make it really affordable. You have to pay tuition fee, and in some cases you get scholarship of 70-50% as the case may be, depending on the institution you're applying to, and you get good education which you can compare to any part of the world, so yeah, they have one of the best education system, not just in Europe but also in the world, where you could get good education from. It also has a good transport system. Like, if you watch my recent video of where I traveled to Finland, I talked about the excellent transport system in Finland, like really easy to use, and I know Helsinki is one of the cities that have just the tram. Yes, Helsinki is the only city with the tram. So apart from that, you could connect to any part of Finland with the public transport system easily. Like, it's not really but it's not complicated. It's not a complicated system. And last but not least, about some of the cons, and last but not least, of some of the pros of studying in Finland, the fact that Finland is not just considered as the happiest country in the world, but also one of the safest countries, not just in the world, but in Europe. Finland is a really safe place to live. I could tell, like, from when I visited Finland, like, it's really safe to live. People go about their normal activities, without getting harassed or as regards to safety, it's really safe, I can say, about Finland. So the cons of living, studying and working in Finland. I know most people really always want to hear about the good side of a country. Trust me, every country has its own, issues or has its own disadvantage. So it's left for you to, check some of these things and make your decisions, on where you want to go to, right? Because when you decide to move from one place to another, it's in search of greater opportunities from where you're coming from, to better yourself. And if you're traveling to Finland just for studies, and after which you leave the country, it's fine. Like, you pay your tuition fees and all of these things. But if you're traveling to Finland with the hope of actually, integrating into the system or settling down after your graduation, then you might want to consider some things, okay? Because I'm going to be telling you like deep things you might not know or you already know about Finland, okay? And then you could make your decision. Because for me, it's always good to be aware of some of these things, before you make your move, okay? Don't just move and then get to the country, and then you discover some of these things, and then you live in life of regret, and everything is not really working out as it should. And then you start talking of maybe leaving the country, or just starting from scratch, spending a lot of time, resources, energy, and it's for me, it's not really a nice strategy of doing things. So I'm going to be delving straight into the cons of living, working, and studying in Finland. And one of the things which top my list is the language barrier. I mean, you have lots of friends who speak English, right? But when it comes to like some other things in terms of job and all of this, you need the language. Like if you want to be fully integrated into the system, make new friends among the locals, then you need the Finnish language, which is one of the main reasons why most people after graduation they leave. I mean, this is different from like if you're an expat coming to Finland, this is different. As regards to you who is an international student in Finland, you need to be aware that you need Finnish, which is the language of Finland. In terms of so many things, you need a knowledge of the language, right? So, like when I went to Finland, I was able to speak to some locals, international students who are living in Finland, and they were able to tell me the same thing, that it's not easy, finding a Finnish or Swedish language course, which is really difficult and expensive. It's not really easy getting it. For them, they feel it's actually important to learn the language if you must stay in Finland, and also to feel welcome in the system, you have to learn the language. But they also talked about not getting this course, like language course, easy. It's not really easy. It's really difficult for them to get it. One thing which is common about most of the people I spoke to is that most of the people want flexibility in requirements of the language in some positions. Like everywhere you apply to, it's really a thing. Like you need to speak Finnish, you need to speak Finnish or Swedish, which is like the basic requirement to get a job in Finland. So this is already like a minus for you, if you don't speak the language. So having a student job is one thing. For those who are students, it might really be difficult, and then you are subjected to doing some kind of jobs which are not even really there. You need to like search before you're able to get like a job where you just need to speak English. And even when you find most jobs that require English, it's a lot of competition. It's a lot. You might not even be selected at the end of the day. Secondly, is accommodation. Like this is a thing. I know in Germany, like we all know accommodation is something. Also in Finland, accommodation is something. Especially if you're on the waiting list of the municipal owned housing, which is relatively cheap as compared to private accommodation. In shared apartment, which is the WG in Germany, like you need to wait and wait to get like an apartment, of which you can afford, because it's one thing to get an apartment, it's one thing for you to afford. You don't want to be in a place where you can't pay the rent. With regards to private housing, you always get a place, but it's like really expensive, and I mean, if you have a good, well-paying job, then as an expat, you should be able to afford some of the houses. But as a student, you need to get somewhere that you can pay, like continue the rent and not have issues paying your rent as a student as time goes on. Another thing which might come as a cultural shock to you is that people might tend to be, unfriendly at the first instance when you move to Finland, especially if you're from a different setting, entirely, different from the one which is in Finland. You might find it really difficult to, integrate. But as time goes on and you abreast yourself with learning the language, learning the culture of the people, and then gradually you're able to make local friends, and then it becomes normal for you, and then you see that people are actually friendly. I mean, I was in Finland for a couple of days, and I mean, the first days was like, okay, like moving, like the first days was like, okay, yeah, it's just my first day in Finland, But as time went on, I was able to, relate with some of the locals, especially when I went on some of those trips on the islands, and then also like close to the market, I met with some locals, and I mean, they seem really friendly, but it's different just visiting as a tourist, and then it's different actually living there, making there as your home, so you need to be aware of this. So, one thing people always try to, run away from, like it's always an issue, it's a topic that we can't, run away from, which is the issue of taxes. Yeah. So I mean, we always have this argument to which country has highest tax. I know, like, we don't want to go on that topic right now because we know Germany like has like an enormous tax system. But also in Finland, you should be aware that the tax system is also another thing. Like, people get to pay high taxes, and you should know that a sizable portion of your salaries goes into taxes. Next is the big one: job opportunities. I mean, if you're moving to Finland, it's something you really want to consider, especially if you think of staying in Finland for a long time. You should consider these things. For an expat who is coming to Finland, who already has a job, before arrival in Finland, this is not for you, because I mean, it's already beneficial to you. You have a job and everything working out for you. But as regards to you being a student who is moving to Finland to study and has the hope of staying in Finland after you study, you should consider this. Presently in Finland, it's really not easy securing like a job. Like, it's a hassle, and I'm really being frank with you. Job seekers and students, who graduated from the university in Finland, like, getting a job is really difficult, especially when you don't even speak the language Finnish or Swedish, which is like a priority in terms of some of the requirements when applying for certain jobs. It's really, 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 really difficult getting a job in Finland. Even when you're studying, it's already like really difficult, like getting a job. And then imagine after graduating, what it's going to be like. I was able to speak to some students, in Finland, and they had almost the same thing, like the same issue, like about securing jobs, And some has friends that couldn't, stay, and after graduation, they left the country to other countries where they could get better opportunities as regards to their careers. Some of the students who I spoke to had like this particular thing to say about Finland. Opportunities for career advancement will be poor if they remain in this country. I mean, like, I can really understand like some of these things, what it feels like. And last but not the least is the weather. Yes, I don't know, but you should already know that. You should know about Finland. Finland doesn't have one of the best weathers, especially in the winter. It's really, 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 it can be really, really cold in the winter. Like, so you want to check this before considering moving to Finland. You should also consider this before making your decision on moving to Finland. So yeah, guys, these are a few things you should consider, before moving to Finland, whether as an expat, whether as a student, or whether as a job seeker. You should consider all of these things before moving to Finland. Don't move to Finland before considering these options, because that would definitely be a wrong move for you. So yeah, I hope I was able to, delve like really deep into this topic. Because on my channel, I always try to be really, really direct, like say things how they are. I'm not sugarcoat things, so you are able to make an informed decision. Share your thoughts in the comment section about what you think about this topic of this video. I'll be reading all of your comments and responding to them. Until the next one, focus, stay motivated. I love you guys. Ciao.